Hello. Good morning. Welcome in to another episode of Good Morning Nasdaq right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. It is the 28th day of August, year of our Lord 2025. Just me. It's just me today. You can see the beautiful little island there in the middle of a lake. Some crystal blue water too. I don't know where that is. Maybe West Coast, northwest maybe. I'm not sure, but quite a beautiful spot there. So we'll have that instead of Huddie or Kyle today. They're both traveling and around, which is why we didn't really have anything yesterday for you guys. These guys are travelers. I don't know what to tell you. Huddie's in Europe for like the 14th time this year, and Kyle is doing something with friends because he's a little social butterfly, and everyone loves him. And so he traveled out yesterday, and we don't know if we'll see him tomorrow, but if not, we'll still be here rolling, rocking, and rolling with the show as scheduled. So, yes, J-Bone says I only come for Kyle. Well, Kyle's not even here every day, so you have to come check a lot just to see it. But if it bothers you that it's just me today, I apologize. You can exit right now. If not, we'll just continue with the show. We will talk about the biggest gappers of the day. Unfortunately, I see one over 70%, so going to be pretty little light on that front. Answer a couple questions and get out of here by 9:15. That's the plan. That's the schedule for today as we just crawl our way to the end of August. I don't know about you guys. Market's been super tough for me in August. I'm just holding on for dear life, trying to savor a tiny little green month to keep the streak alive. And there has not been a lot of plays that actually have worked to fruition and have actually where I've had a good position and they get to a price target. If they do, I've already screwed it up once and the win's not as big. I think I have 4 green days this month. So if I'm able to squeeze out green, then that's going to be a positive for me. It doesn't look at this point if that September is going to be all that different. I know Kyle's trying to talk into existence, keeps talking about August being bad and August and September being bad. We'll see. I know that we should get some more opportunities into the fall like we normally do. Right now the overall markets are right around all-time highs. We kind of absorbed it last Friday, spiked back into the highs. And then this week have been kind of going sideways and look to be breaking higher, but still feel like there's a lot of uncertainty out there and the plays aren't really coming down into playable patterns for me. We might have runners. We've had a couple runners over the past week. We've had, OPAD, we had INHD, I almost said Tilray. That's how bad it is out there. But all you can do is sit back. Someone's hot market is someone else's slow market. There's no, if you're sitting there and having a great month and you've, taken some trips, you've conveniently missed some of the really bad stretches, you've not taken unnecessary trades, you've nailed the 3 or 4 setups that did come into your wheelhouse this month. That's more good on you than I think on the market right now. But just because I say it sucks for me doesn't mean it has to be sucky for you. Definitely some areas, and when I do my monthly recap, we'll go over them and talk a little bit about the mistakes that I made, the misses I made, the extra losses I took. But yeah, so don't take my word as Bible for that. But that is my experience. And as a trader, me and Huddy all argue all the time. Market's hot, market's cold. It doesn't really matter what anyone else is doing. The only world you live in is the one that you live in. And, up here, this is where I live. So my experience is important to me. And been not a great stretch for me. Not a ton of trades out there. Going into today, tomorrow, the watch list is super light. So we're just going to work our way through these last 2 days and then jump into September and see what opportunities come for us. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button for us. It's the only way I know that you guys are liking what we do here. We're live every day the market is open. We post long form content every week. So, while you're hitting the thumbs up button, I think around there is a subscribe button. Hover your mouse over that. Hit that as well. That goes a long way. In the ways I don't know which it goes a long way, but I know for me, I'm supposed to say that to you. So if you could go ahead and do that, make it easy on me. It's free for you. Life is good for everyone. So we can jump into the first gapper of the day, and then we'll take some questions. And 9:10, 9:15, whatever whenever my voice gets tired and I'm ready to just move on with the day, we'll get out of here and we'll try again tomorrow. We'll try again tomorrow. Not sure if Kyle will be here, but go ahead, post some questions over there in the live chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from, any specific tickers or patterns that you have questions on. I'll pick a few. We'll answer them, and we'll get out of here. How's that sound? Oh, that sounds great. I appreciate you saying it sounds great. The biggest gapper of the day is CWD. Is that the deer disease? CWD. I think it is. That's all I can think about now is when deer get sick and from licking each other and such, and they get gross. They get gross and they die. But that's not this. This is Caliber, okay? This is an asset management company with a 1.81 million float. They got 4.2 months of cash left. 1 hour ago, they established a Link token digital asset treasury. A little late to the party here, and I don't know what Link is. So if I had Kyle here, I would say, Kyle, how are you? Is Link an important crypto thing? And he would say yes or no. But we don't have that answer, so we'll have to ask him over in Clover in a little bit. 9 days ago, there's pickleball and paddle facility in Scottsdale. 14 days ago, they did earnings. They regained compliance with the minimum bid, probably due to a reverse split a couple months ago. So a lot going on here. I see like an asset company, and then all I see is pickleball. Overall risk is high. Offering ability is low. They're running out of cash. What is a $3 stock right now? Let's see. Gosh, I love it when there's just not a lot of things registered because I don't have to use my brain to figure out what it means. Small shelf left. Okay, I don't see a ton in the dilution section, but don't take my word for it. I do that for you guys. I have smart people tell me what this means. Usually, and if there's anything super obvious about any dilution or offering potential. But so we got news, asset treasury, 1.8 million float, so a little small, not too small, but small. Looks like this stock ran in August, earlier this month, from the 2s all the way to the 8s. Man, I do not remember this one. Probably because it wasn't a gapper. It didn't really gap up. It just ran that day and then got completely destroyed from 8 all the way down to 3. That's where it closed. That's where we are right now. Volume on that day was just shy of 100 mil. Today, we're already at 62 mil. So volume looks like it's going to be bigger than that day. It doesn't mean I immediately go and think, oh, we're definitely going to break over these highs because the volume is bigger. I do anticipate that there should be a decent amount of selling pressure as this stock goes high, especially if we looked at the intraday that day, how it failed, how it kind of gave up all its gains if it was really quick or if it consolidated in the afternoon and then kind of dumped. Definitely potential for there to be bag holders at every level on the way up. That's probably the most important area of resistance I would look at. I will go back a couple years just to see, though. Obviously, top left to bottom right. We know that they were under, potentially not having compliance with the Nasdaq because of minimum price, which means they probably did a reverse split. We can go back even further and see. It's not easy to tell because there's no crazy big numbers. But top left to bottom right, and the only times this stock has really been interesting has been earlier this month and right now. What was the news on that day? 8/5/25. I don't even have news on that day. So it looks super random. There's news all the time in the stock, but not that day. So that's really the area that I would pay the most attention to. I would draw a line at 830 or whatever this high is, 834. I don't anticipate getting there. If it did, I really don't care about the volume today. I would anticipate a lot of people, because this is the only resistance level on the chart, would be looking at this as a short into resistance. It would be a pretty big move for it came from sub 2 to go to 8. That'd be 300 or 400%. Not saying it's impossible. But that would be a really big move to duplicate twice, especially when it's pumped out so much volume and it's only gotten kind of to the base of where that move started. But we'll see. It's not something I ever really want to be interested in buying. I like when stocks are gapping slightly into resistance, right around resistance, not when they're gapping well below and there's resistance everywhere overhead. So this is not something I look at like, oh, if it's testing around 8, I'm looking to buy it. Nope. We're not up a ton right now, 77%. So I definitely think this could pop more if it wants to. But I'm just really not in the business of guessing which gappers are going to run in the morning, which ones aren't. Which is why I really just stay away from day one gappers for the most part, because I don't know why one should go and why one shouldn't. News-wise, this kind of fits into a probably the hottest theme of the year, which was those crypto treasury plays. I don't know any personal details, specific details about this one, it being with Link token. I don't even know if that's a crypto or what the difference between a token and a crypto. A token and a coin, right? What's the difference between a token and a coin, right? Is a quarter a token or is a quarter a coin? I think it's a coin. But yeah, so not really a ton of interest here. It's barely up 80% right now. We can take a look at the intraday here. Nice strong morning, high or lows consolidated near the highs. But I would guess that Huddie would be interested in a gap and crap as long as it's up 70, 80, 90% at the open. Looking to fade it off. Does have a history of failure. This one did spike a lot before failing. So maybe this one has to run a little bit first and then give it all back. But I will probably leave this one alone. But this is your biggest gap of the day. CWD. Caliber. Excalibur. Got some electrolytes in the water. Interesting taste when you forget that they're there. 45 likes already. Wow, you guys are awesome. I appreciate that. I'm just not even going to ask again because I have a feeling 5 more likes are going to come in, and that's all good. So I'm not going to bother to ask for any more. You guys have done your part. Wing says thoughts on KSS and OPED to retest breakout. Those couldn't be any more different of charts. KSS, Coles is kind of a meme stock, hype play, a little sympathy to open. No interest on this one for me. All of them are like DNUT, Dunkin' Donuts, or Krispy Kreme. And what's the other one? GPRO? I don't really have a ton of interest. GoPro would probably be my favorite. Lower priced, thicker, but they really kind of popped at the end of Open's run over the past week. But I don't really have a ton of interest in KSS. It's not really a clean runner. This is the day before that guy. Like, there's just nothing clean here, and it's not a beautiful chart. I'm okay missing it unless Open goes to like 15. Like, I'll feel like I'll probably have to take any sympathy that is there, but nothing there. OPED, I have as a potential reversal today after having basically like right on the dot, I think a 300% run, and then a red day yesterday, the first red day yesterday. We'll see. Doesn't have a great history of bounces. I know that this run has a ton more volume than back here, but this one really did not bounce too much. I guess you could say it bounced off of this run, but this was even lighter volume. But I definitely want to. What was your question? To retest breakout? I think it's possible. A big morning spike, if it starts to pump out 10, 20, 30 million volume, some shorts cover, I think it could test the high 4s, low 5s pretty easily. So I think it's possible. Jabril wants to know, when is the market not at all-time highs? That's a good question. When it's not, and it's crazy. I've been trading for a long time, and it feels like it's either always just kind of healthy or it's like pure panic, and we're like way far from the highs, like in COVID, 2016, 17, and most recently at the start of this year. So when it's not is when it's not. That's what you have to remember. P. Daddy said, did you catch INHD yesterday? A nice reversal. I didn't catch it as a reversal because it didn't really set up for me. It just kind of ran right out of the gate. Where are we? Where's yesterday? 9:30. Yeah, it just kind of spiked right out of the gate after having a really big bounce into the end of the day over the course of the afternoon, end of day, into the $4 area. I looked at it more as of a breakout after taking my loss in the morning. And then didn't capitalize on this, and it ended up fading off and failing, and it's really not much lower, so we'll see where it goes in the future. But it was, I can't say something failed because it didn't fit my criteria. If you're like buying opens or buying weakness, whatever it is, like there was definitely room to nail this if it was part of your strategy. I tend to be more patient on entries with these because so few do bounce that I don't want to lose on every single thing that sets up, and then the winner's not be big enough to overcome those losses. So I'm okay missing these if they don't set up better. But this one did have a nice move from the 4s towards 6. So congrats to anyone who took that. And it technically did break out as well. Throne says, Dom, is the saying you don't want to be 10% of the stock's volume, otherwise you'll influence it true? I don't never heard that as a saying. Was that in Proverbs? But yes, all joking aside, that's a big chunk of the volume. I mean, I've never even thought about that for the most part, unless back in the day when I was trading much bigger on OTCs, where a couple mil a day in shares was like as many as it did, and you found yourself with a couple 100,000 shares. If you're trading a stock where you are going, and I'm thinking all of us here are regular people, even Kyle to some extent, unless we're talking about super illiquid stocks, isn't even going to mess with that. Probably need more volume on the play. You are going to influence it. When you have too many shares on stock that's not trading a lot of volume, you might not influence it from the perspective of what it's doing on the day, but if you want out, you're going to influence it if you're 10% of the volume, most likely. And it's going to be in the form of tearing the stock down probably, or making it very hard for it to go up if you're selling on the ask. So I think that's a big number. 10% of the stock's volume probably means the stock's not doing a ton of volume. Wing says, does a setup become an even higher odds setup if it has multiple big picture setups, like a breakout and a first green day, or does it not matter? I don't think that changes any odds. I think it just changes potential entry style, potential exit, like where you want to exit. Like, if you think OPAD can break out, but it's technically a reversal right now, it doesn't make it higher probability that either one's going to work. I mean, it has to be a good reversal to break out, probably because we're very far away from the highs. So no, I don't think that's pretty much. I'm trying to think of any other setups that can really coexist. You can't really have a breakout on the front side. That's a first green day. You can't really have a breakout before a first green day on the back side. First red days are all on their own, and if they turn into something else, then can't be a breakout or a reversal or a first green day. So there's probably other patterns like intraday wedges and stuff that people play, scalpers play, that definitely could combine to be a breakout, combine to be a reversal. Breakdown on an intraday on a first red day, that stuff can happen. But that's just kind of what we're looking at for. I don't have intraday patterns that I'm like, oh, this is an ascending wedge triangle beef tart. I just understand lower highs into a key support that's breaking down. Like that's the kind of way we look at stocks. You just start to learn to understand how the intraday looks and the price action of weakening price action, strengthening price action, consolidation, all that good stuff. Jabril's always hating on the market being at highs. I don't really care. Whatever the market's going to do, the market is going to do. I just care that we have opportunities in small cap land. And if we have an all-time highs market all the time, but we're not getting that, then we're either in a real, it's seasonality, it's super slow, or it's just not really believable. And it's going higher, but it's not really, no one really believes it. Jay wants to know what open looks like to me. Are we going to get a green day today? I have no freaking clue. What open, like, what does open look like to me? It looks like a stock. Let's pretend we don't know anything fundamentally about it, or Wall Street bets, or hype, or the weird CEO. Like, it's a stock that had a failed breakout back here over 5 that only went into the 580s. Has now failed off of that level. It's well below the main resistance point that it had before. And I'm watching it to see if it's going to consolidate for a move higher over these highs at 587, or if it's going to fade off back to where it came from because the hype's not real and there will be no play. That's kind of what I see. I've kind of thought about the idea of dabbling into previous resistance and support areas back here for a potential swing, but I kind of just don't know if it's really a guarantee that we are going to go back and test those highs. At this point, we are, 4 to 6. Just kind of rounding here. It's like a 50% move back to the highs. I think this breakout happened too soon and had to run too far to get to this breakout. And because of that, you got a really crappy actual breakout over 5. So I'm not really rooting. I know there's a lot of people who like this is their one shining star and they need to nail this to like save a month or whatever. I think the best way that this could set up is a little bit longer, like a bounce back towards 5, a pull higher than these 4s, consolidation in here for 3 to 5 days, and the 470 to 520 area. Get closer to the breakout level, consolidate, and then we'll talk. Because I just don't really want to be a part of another breakout that looks good on day one and then has no juice to go higher because it ran 30, 40, 50% to get there. This isn't your typical low float runner that's just going to rip off hundreds of percent days in the first hour of the day. Like, this is a builder, it's a slow mover, and I mean, what it doesn't mean anything to you if I predict what it's going to do. Wait and see. Where does it support? Where does it, right now, yesterday we kind of held the old breakout level, the 4 to 410 area. I want to see a real death line, consolidate and hold for at least a day or two. A bounce, a lower, like, a lot needs to happen here for me. Obviously I have the level here where if any big news or hype comes out, like, that's your, gotta buy it, 584 or whatever. But besides that, I'm being patient and waiting for levels to develop there. All right, it's already 9:16. We're going to answer a question or two and get out of here. What does open look? Oh, no, I answered that. Dom, are you looking for the breakout in Fannie Mae? Volume is pretty weak. Yeah, I wrote this in the room yesterday about Fannie Mae. I'm just kind of like, at this point, Fannie Mae used to be super fun and lucrative when it was like a cheap stock that could do like 100% moves over the course of 4 or 5 days. Now there's so much like news about it becoming public, or is it deprivatized or conservatorship, something like that. I'm forgetting all the buzzwords with this one. You obviously have big levels overhead, 1160 and 1180. The only days that this really has range are big volume days, 15, 20, 30 million. And lately, even when it looks like it's going to test those levels, like, you're getting 4 million. Like, yesterday it was strong out of the gate. You got like 5 or 6 million. At this point, I'm like, probably I will watch the price action on the day it breaks, like 1166. And that's about it. I won't really try to good anything early and hope that day is on big volume. And if not, I'll take a loss or move on because the volume's not there. I expect this to be a good breakout. There's a lot of fundamental reasons why, like, Kyle is not really interested because of potential dilution if any news happens. So I'd be aware of swinging it overnight. If any big news does drop, it might come with a lot of dilution. But it's a chart that I have an eye on. I have alerts set for, but I won't be trying to get in super early here. All right, everybody, 9:18. I hope you guys have a great last 2 days of August, whether you're absolutely killing it, whether you're struggling, whether you're just kind of keeping the boat afloat like I am. These are great months to learn from, to really dissect, because there wasn't a ton of opportunity. So it's a great time to go and learn from which opportunity you did not nail, you did not maximize, you did not trade, whatever it is. These are great times to study and prepare for the future, because I promise you will see another market like this, whether it's in September, whether it's next August, whatever it is, you're going to see it again. And you got to learn from the past to prepare yourself for the future. And while you're living in the past, right now in the present, it's a great time to do so. So make sure you're working on your stats, working on your data, your spreadsheets, all that stuff. Get your numbers right. Prepare for the next month. Prepare for the next 2 days. If you were at a point right now, I'll just remind you there's 2 days left in the month. And now is not the time to go and force and push and press to make something out of nothing. If the plays aren't there, the plays aren't there. I encourage you to, in the next 11 minutes, accept whatever month you have. That it can get better, it can get worse, but I will not go and try to triple it, quadruple it, or whatever if the plays aren't there. That's just the way it is. I did that like last week. I accepted it. So hope you guys have a great day. I got a webinar at 11 with all the 4-leaf and black clovers. If you're ever interested in joining us for those webinars, you can over at clovertrading.io. Get yourself signed up. If not, wow, 73 likes today. You guys are the best. You're amazing. Love that you guys are here asking questions even on a day when it's just me. But we will see you again tomorrow to wrap up August and get set into week 1 of college football. I know you guys are looking forward to that. So we'll see you then. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you.